Okay, I'll let y'all in on something. After Renee singing Amen, and the collections collected, I could just take the collection, go on home. Thank you, Renee. I'm not gonna tell on you this morning. I'll tell y'all, I can preach a whole sermon on Renee. We go back to seminary together. I start my talk this morning, or sermon this morning, with another profound vocalist and a really wonderful songwriter, Barbra Streisand and Paul Williams. From, I believe, 1976. Some of y'all were around then and adults. Some of us were not. And that year, Barbara felt so moved. It doesn't say she was a co-producer, but you know Miss Streisand, on the film A Star is Born, the second version of it. There have been 3. And she and Chris Christopherson did an amazing job. And that summer after the film was released, she sang the title song, Evergreen. Love soft as an easy chair. Love fresh as the morning air. One love that is shared by 2, I have found in you. Like the rose under the April snow. I was always certain love would grow, and she knows where to put the note so that we sit there wondering, is she going to make it? And of course, it's Barbra Streisand, so of course she makes it. And she sings, love ageless and evergreen. That's not what we're talking about today. I let Renee and our wonderful Story for All Ages do that connection for you. They actually won the Golden Globe and the Oscar for Best Original Song, and it marked the first time that a woman won that latter award as a songwriter, and it topped the Billboard Hot 100 chart for 3 weeks. And then she did Yentl, and they said, no, a woman cannot do all of that. Remember that? Nominated for Best Picture, but not Best Director. How do you get Best Picture without a Best Director? Well, you have a woman directing it, and that was a problem. Yeah. We love this kind of love. We have faith in this kind of love because it's all over our culture and our society, and we just had a holiday. And if you broke up over Valentine's Day weekend, I'm very sorry, but I have good news for you. If you broke up over Valentine's Day weekend, that was a gift to you to avoid any trouble in the future. Let them go. This, unfortunately, even after Valentine's Day, is not the kind of love I felt moved to talk about. Though I believe in it, I better after 30-some years with the best gay man out there. I will address it briefly, but from the perspective of what happens once the evergreen gets a little age on it. We'll have songs about, well, you were evergreen. This love that's in the song is as potent as cocaine. And if you've ever witnessed somebody in that first month of love, they are high. And it's wonderful, because you better enjoy it. They are high. And we're going to need some of the other kinds of love right now to rescue our nation and to have a potent resistance to the insanity that has gripped our country. I am also proposing that at this perfect time, we have stated that we are all the things that we are as Unitarian Universalists, and that love that I propose is at its core. We didn't lose anything by putting love in the center of everything we believe. We actually may have gained some things. In case you, like me, stumbled into our community battered and bruised from all sorts of things in your life, in need of love that is not just soft as an easy chair. Oh my goodness. But how about as sturdy as concrete? And the enlisted element, it's the unlisted element on the periodic table that can change hearts like it changed mine. I want to reference the brilliance of the late, great Bell Hooks, who wrote our reading today. And from Bell Hooks, by the way, she used her great-grandmother's name and she never capitalized it. It's an excerpt from chapter 6, Living by a Love Ethic, of her book, All About Love, New Visions, copyright 2000. Not 2023 or 24, but 2000. Awakening to love can happen only as we let go of our obsession with power and domination. Wow. A love ethic presupposes that everyone has a right to be free and to live fully and well. This is simple. And the part of the chapter I did not read goes on to say that if we are consumed by fear, then we are susceptible to leadership that is not centered, I hope it says in love, as a societal and not an individually focused, but a societal love ethic. Wow. She published all that in 2000, y'all. So not only was she a professor and a philosopher, but she was a prophet. How did she know? She knew because she was talking about love in her classes in the late 1990s. And the students of the time thought that she was wise and intelligent and a wonderful professor. I know it because I have dear friends and an adoptive daughter who actually knew her on college campuses. But they also thought that Bell Hooks was out of touch with their reality. Her students said that they did not believe in love. This is when we can stop and cry, y'all. In the 1990s, her students told Bell Hooks that they didn't believe in love. Where do you go from there if you don't believe in love? And she shuddered at the consequences of this entire generation of people who did not believe in love. Folks who were going to vote, choose leaders, make decisions about their lives, and who thought that love was a weak emotion. Maybe not just soft as an easy chair, but an old easy chair that needs to be set out. Well, Duncan, why are you pushing this? Because according to the Bible, and every wise soul and a whole lot of sources, and according to Bell, love casts out fear. Well, she was quoting a book in the New Testament from the Christian scriptures. Love casts out fear. So if we proceed with our programs to resist without love, we're like a clanging cymbal. That's in 1 Corinthians, not 1 Corinthians. Well, what kind of love, Duncan? Well, I'm glad you asked. We need the kind of love that sits in a chair with you and makes it possible for you to hear the doctor say, I am sorry to tell you, Mr. Teague, but you have cancer. Because the other person sitting in the chair next to you is sitting there and you are scared and you mentally go somewhere that isn't in the song. But you look over at the person who is there with you, who loves you and who will love you and be there no matter what the circumstances are of what the doctor just said, and you come back into the room and you know you're not alone. That's the kind of love I'm talking about today. And I'm a witness because it happened on July 10th, sitting in Dr. Wong's office with my husband sitting in the other chair. Some part of the depth of the fear that is mitigated by love in that room. That is the love I want to talk about. There is a love that moves through you. It makes you strong enough to handle things that you did not know you could cope with. There is a love that makes you physically able to defend yourself and to stand in the way of harm to others. Have you heard the stories about moms who can lift a car, fight off predators, and folks with ill intent because they threaten their children? I know there's some mothers in here who become Wonder Woman if you come too close to their kid. That's the kind of love I'm talking about. If we can harness some of that love for the children of the world being threatened right now by greed and unconcern, we might be able to convince some hearts that it is not wise to proceed. If I were you, I would back up. That's the kind of love we need. That is the love I'm proclaiming today. Do you know what happens to infants that are simply fed and changed? Unfortunately, we have history of this happening. A bunch of infants not being adequately cared for. And by care, I don't mean they didn't get fed. I don't mean they didn't get changed. I mean nobody picked them up and held them. A percentage of those infants die, not from malnourishment. We require attention of love to grasp life and to become human. There's also a percentage of those babies who survive, and they are forever unable to function with the empathy we require as social beings because of not receiving the love and attention necessary for socialized, caring brains to advance properly. This is the kind of love that changes lives that I'm concerned about, because it is obvious that some of the people in high-ranking positions are lacking the brain development to care for others as we require in a cooperative society. Amen? And I have one more example, and I'll close because I want brunch as much as you. I want to offer this kind of love that is strong enough that it will keep you alive. The kind of love that we must have leave the room so that we can make our final departure. Love is so strong that when you are trying to depart this life, if there is someone in the room who cannot let you go, you will have to wait for them to go get coffee or a sandwich or go home before you can peacefully pass out of this life. And if you think I'm lying, I want you to go and talk to the night nurses or to the hospice attendants, and they'll say, as soon as Helen left, she passed. Or he went on after his baby girl had to get up and go get a sandwich. This is the kind of power I want liberals and radicals and whoever else, I don't care what you call yourself, but if you're willing to love enough to change our world and join us, this is what I want us to use. Powerful enough to ward off death. To bring a love ethic, as Bell Hooks says, to every dimension of our lives. The society would need to embrace change. And then she credits Eric Fromm, who affirms important and radical changes are necessary. It's as though he read our papers. If love is to become a social, not a highly individualistic, marginal phenomenon like love in an easy chair, which is fabulous, but we need that other chair that ain't so easy. Bell Hooks said individuals, and I add and communities, because I'm sitting in one, who choose to love can and do alter our lives, my life, in ways that honor the primacy of a love ethic. Amen.